Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is DC Movie News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the DC Universe.
Keep it going. All right, bring it back. Keep it going. We need to get the energy level going here. Roxy was stuck in traffic. Welcome, everybody, to the DC Movie News on the Popcorn Talk Network. What's up, DC University? Now we're pumped up. We're ready. We don't have Adam Gertler again this week. He's going to be back. Triumphant return next week. He may be on a sausage mission. I don't know where he is. He's just gone. He's not here, but you're going to hear kind of his voice later on in the show. He answered some of your questions. We're going to read them off to you. So Gertler is still on the show this week, but follow him on Twitter at Adam Gertler. Jonny Loquasto here at Jay Quasto. Of course, you can find us at DC Movies SK. Let's get to the squad, then we'll get to the show. Here she is wearing her camouflage, but we still see her.
Can you see me?
Find her on Twitter at Roxy Striar.
Hello, I'm so happy
Roxy
to be
Striar.
back. Yeah, I love you guys. I missed you all week.
So tell us, you had some struggles to get here. You had called me twice very angrily.
You know, if I missed the show this week, I would have just cried and cried. So I bobbed and weaved and I flew here with my superpowers.
You zigged, you zagged, you button hooked everybody. You got it.
Yeah, worth it.
And you wore clothes this time.
Okay. In all fairness, I was wearing clothes last week. You just couldn't see
You
them.
looked so naked on camera. It was hilarious.
It's another superpower of mine.
No, hey. I don't blame you. Back by popular demand, very, very talented actor, and he knows his stuff. Find him on Twitter at Mike Kalinwoski. He's Mike Kalinwoski. What's happening, my friend?
Thank you very much for having me back, guys. I they tell you not to read reviews or comments, but I was following along on this, and you guys out there, you're phenomenal.
Yeah, no,
really
you're phenomenal.
to me.
You're phenomenal. That's why we had you back. And secondly, if they didn't like you, they would say so. That's why I don't read comments.
So I admire that. I try to respond to as much people as I could, and you guys are phenomenal out there. So thank you for that, for making me feel welcome here.
It was a blast having you on last week. We had a really good time, and we're going to have a fantastic time again today. So let's get right to the news. It wasn't a huge week for news, I guess we could say, but a couple neat stories here. We think we have a new captain of the Suicide Squad. It looks like it's going to be Joel Kinnaman. He was the did I say that right? Kinnaman. He was the lead.
Say it really fast. No one will notice.
Yeah, Kinnaman. It looks, and we talked about how they're just are they grasping at straws? Who can they get? He was the lead in the RoboCop reboot. Didn't exactly get a lot of great feedback, but he does. Look like he would fit the role. He's going to be in the new Liam Neeson movie Run All Night. It looks like he's going to be the new Rick Flag.
In all fairness, he didn't necessarily get the most negative feedback. The movie just didn't do that well.
He didn't do anything wrong.
So, I'm just thinking, people have a sour taste in their mouth because of the movie, but I don't know. I don't know much about him. He could be great.
Watch The Killing.
Watch The Killing.
That show. He was phenomenal in it.
Okay.
Really good show.
I pride myself on being a TV person, but I don't know. I know of The Killing, but I never watched.
It seems to me, he seems kind of like the guy that Hollywood, they're stuck in that there's no leading men in their 30s, that they're having a hard time. They got the older guys, and then they got the younger guys, but there's that middle ground that they're still.
But that's Hollywood's. That's Hollywood's own fault, if you ask me.
And they just keep, we got Sam Worthington, and then they tried it with Jeremy Renner, who's more of a character actor. He's not a leading man, and then
really,
what's his name? Jay.
You don't consider Renner a leading man?
I don't think so.
You don't think
he's such a good character actor? So good in those roles like Dahmer that he does, and those littler roles. Where when they try and make him the leading man, he just has that. I don't say he doesn't look like a leading man, but he just has that.
He's not a big guy.
No, but I just think he's a character actor.
So you don't think he would have been a good fit per se?
Oh, I'm not saying he wouldn't have been, but he just. It seems like Hollywood is still. What's the guy? Jai Courtney, that's his name. They're not trying to make him they put him in everything, but I haven't really liked him in anything except Spartacus. If you go back and watch that TV show, he was brilliant on that show. So good. But just he hasn't hit the road. But it's not his fault. Of course, any actor in his right mind would grasp at anything big franchises to be in.
Let me
John
ask
McClane's
you.
son, sure. Yes.
So you're saying that there are no leading men in Hollywood in their 30s? Is that the statement?
No. I'm saying Hollywood.
Channing Tatum,
thousands of them out
Right.
there. That the studio system is stuck in this thing where it's for so long relied on the Will Smiths, the Tom Cruises, all these guys. When it phased out, and action movies changed what they wanted for their action heroes, they were stuck in this kind of mid-ground. There was nothing. So that's why they went to a lot of Australians, because Australians, in this big article.
Well, for females too.
Absolutely.
I mean, English and Australian actresses are taken over.
Absolutely.
It all has to do with the way that they're trained, which
some of it is
training, but also there's articles talking about
Most
how
of it.
here in California, when people are raised a certain way, they just don't have that. Yeah, they might be 30, but they still have that boyishness about them. They're not men. They're in their 30s, but they're not men.
Yeah, because they're not jaded by living.
We went through this
LA.
this Michael Cera, this Jesse Eisenberg phase where that's where the leading men in movies and TV shows.
Right.
So they want these. So they're grasping at straws for anything. I think the best we've had so far is Liam Hemsworth, where he's young enough where he's going to grow into a leading man. But then again, he's from Australia.
you prefer him to Chris.
I'll take either Hemsworth, and then they got the third brother that no one talks about. But
Yeah, I think
Both
that
got good genetics, that's for sure.
if we
the whole
do
family.
if we do reach out to the world of television, I think that there are plenty young 30-year-old strapping leading men out there. I really
Absolutely.
do.
You're sitting with two of them.
there you go.
No, I'm yes, that too, absolutely. But I'm just saying that there are so many. The quality of television shows today are
Absolutely.
so strong that I have no problem with them pulling from.
Here's the thing, though. When it comes to a major motion picture, I just think they're afraid to pull the trigger. They're afraid to take a chance on someone who's not a household name, to where I think that's part of the reason that there's not as many leading men in their 30s that you would think.
Absolutely.
Because they're, and justifiably so, I guess. There's a lot of money involved, high-budget film.
Sure.
But sometimes you just got to look at someone's talent and be like, all right, that dude can carry it.
I would love to see a movie studio, whether it be a DC film or a Marvel film, that those characters, I mean, just the name alone sells it. I would love them to take that character, let's say when they're doing Spider-Man now, cast a complete unknown. And I'm not talking, maybe he's done a couple credits so you prove that he's an actor. But someone that no one knows anything. Anytime actors was like, oh, he's an unknown. No, he's been working for about 20 years. You just haven't seen the stuff he's in.
I love Andrew Garfield.
I'm saying, oh, that guy got the shaft on that one.
I know.
He's going to be fun.
You haven't heard my Amazing Spider-Man 2 love. You haven't heard yet.
No, we don't want to hear it. So what are your thoughts on Joel Kinnaman overall?
It's I don't think Rick Flag. I think there's got to be something wrong with the role in the script.
It seems like it's going to be
passing on
relatively. I don't want to say relatively minor,
right?
But I don't think it's going to take.
That's a difference, though. The two things you just said are completely different. It's either that there's something wrong with the script,
right,
so people don't want to attach themselves to the script, or that the role is smaller than we think it is. And I have no problem if the role is smaller than we think it is, but if there's a problem with the script, obviously we all have a problem.
Here's the thing where it goes into, if what they're doing with the Suicide Squad, of course it's going to be Amanda Waller, but the history of it, Rick Flag, he's really, and his father before him, they were the ones that kind of were at the dawn of it back, I think, World War II it started. It used to be, it was kind of like the CIA and the FBI. It was Suicide Squad, and there was a team called Argent. Argent was domestic. Suicide Squad was foreign missions. And then Rick Flag and the history, it's kind of gotten changed over the years. But something that DC, if they're smart, I think, would utilize is that Task Force X or Suicide Squad is kind of a faction off of Checkmate. And Checkmate is DC's shield. They're this kind of expansive organization which they can use, if they're smart, to be connect all their movies with Checkmate. And Suicide Squad is just kind of this offshoot that does the Black Ops. We're hiring bad guys to go kill people.
So, which means what's cool about it, DC's trying to build their villains up for the slate down the road. So a lot of people think it's a risk by doing a Suicide Squad movie so early. I think it's fantastic because it gives you so much more to get invested in.
But going back to your point, are you saying that even if the role is small, it might turn out being a bigger role because they could intertwine it into all the other movies?
I think this could potentially be a Nick Fury in the Marvel Universe. The Rick Flag character.
Wow.
So he pops up because if he's in Checkmate and Suicide Squad, because
but Nick Fury is a major character.
Absolutely, but he didn't always start that. Back in Iron Man, it was just, hey, can we get him to come in because he looked like the comic? Let's just throw him in there.
So maybe some of the actors are being short-sighted, or
I think,
or maybe they don't like the script. I mean,
could be, absolutely.
I don't want to go to that place, but I think that nowadays a lot of actors are really smart and they have an entire team of people telling them and helping them with what to do. Really, is somebody going to pass on a role after seeing all of these major franchise movies because they don't know if it's going to turn into a bigger role. We know that Marvel and DC both, all of the time, they put you in 6 movies. That's what they do. They put you in 3, 6, 8 movies, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if an actor would be silly enough to pass on it because in this particular script, they don't have as many lines or as much camera time.
And I don't get it. I have no concern about the script. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the script probably sucks. No, someone in chat roll just brought up a great point. Ayer wrote Training Day. Are you kidding me? That movie's phenomenal. I have no concerns. Yeah, no concerns about the script. So I don't know what it is, but speaking of Suicide Squad, Will Smith actually just talked about Deadshot, actually had some really good quotes here. I think he's being sincere. We talked last week about how we feel like he really wants to get into the psychology of the character. He mentioned he loves the concept of dubious morals, and he always liked to play in that area, according to him. And so he seems to be really getting into the role and wants to just surround himself with that character.
Yeah, I agree with that. And based on his role choices up to this point, I think that is true. He does have a lot of roles with morals that are questionable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because Adam Gertler's gotten in my head a little bit about it. But the more I have been rewatching recent Will Smith movies, the more nervous I am for this.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I do love Will Smith, and I loved Will Smith's music, and then I loved his earlier films, and some of them now I think are good, but I just think that this guy has so much to prove right now because everybody is like up in arms about it that I'm scared he might crumble under the pressure.
I don't think so. I think it's interesting. I think he is almost like Ben Affleck, where his career, he's grown. There was this article he just wrote recently about some of his biggest regrets and what he got to a point where he's like, why do I need to keep making these box office movies that are the number one? Why he just stopped. He's like, why am I doing this? Because he was chasing these bad movies. And I think he's at a point now, kind of with Ben Affleck, where he's older now, he's kind of more experienced, he's a family man now, so it's different now for him with what he brings into it. And I think he just wants a good movie.
I think he wants an Oscar, and I don't think he's going to find it here. So I think
there could be hope. We could hope.
There could be hope. You know, Heath Ledger gave hope to everybody, and yes, there could be hope, but I don't think that's why he took this role. I think that he took this role probably because, I mean, we're reading articles that he hasn't even read the script, so we can't say that he took this role because he thinks it's great. He took this role probably because it's stability. And he has a job for a long time now. I mean, also, I don't know how Focus is going to be. I don't know what the reviews are, but him and Margot Robbie, they already know each other now. They already maybe have a chemistry, so... BFF. Yeah, so maybe that's another reason why... Or maybe you just want to work with the director. You know, he loves his films. And that could be very true. Who doesn't want to play a superhero? I completely agree with that. I do. I just think that there has been a lot of negative talk about him. And I'm trying to clear my mind from that because I happen to love Will Smith. And I'm just trying to think positive thoughts. But he's made some stinkers in the last few years. Yeah, here's the thing, though. Once you're a legitimate movie star, you're going to make some stinkers. Now, of course. I'm a Philly guy. I grew up listening to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I will always defend Will Smith. I think he's phenomenal, and I think he'll be fine in this role. I know people have questions about his ego, and that's justifiably so. But I don't think he's chasing an Oscar with this role. I just think he realizes it's going to be a major, major project. The cast around him is phenomenal, and I'd like to think he's going to put his ego aside and do a great job. Yeah, I mean, that's what you can hope for any actor, and I hope he doesn't go over the top and this isn't the role he's trying to take in order to chase an Oscar, but I guess you never know. Yeah. Well, speaking of Suicide Squad, news coming out, David Ayer actually announced that actor Jay Hernandez just got added to the cast, but they're keeping his role under wraps. If you don't know Jay Hernandez, he was in the movie Hostel back in 2005. He had a bunch of episodes of Nashville, and most importantly, the relatively popular Peter Engel NBC Saturday sitcom Hang Time, Working Together. Yeah, about 15 years ago. No, keep going with that. Nope, done. That's it. I know when to kill it when it should be killed. Ooh, problem of mine always. No, yeah, with you and Bane can't. I know that much. With who? What are you talking about? Oh, boy. You mentioned it. I didn't even go there. So, so Jay Hernandez added to the cast. They're keeping it under wraps. A lot of people think... I think this is borderline racist, but people are saying online like, oh, he's going to be an inmate with Joker. Of course. Well, why? Just you add a Latino guy, he's got to be an inmate? Come on. No, he I would imagine is going to be some kind of checkmate agent used to kind of be like a shepherd to keep these guys in line. Undercover style. I don't think he's going to be one of the popular villains that's in the squad. I think he's going to be under Waller's thumb somewhere. I agree. Maybe undercover stuff. Yeah, like
deep undercover.
But I'll tell you, the problem with finding news and getting it on Twitter is the fact that you can only see so much in your thread when it comes up. So it said Jay Hernandez, Jerry Lewis, Suicide Squad. That's what I saw before I clicked on it. So in my head, I was like, oh my God.
What just happened?
Brilliant. Brilliant with Jerry Lewis. But then it was like, he's doing some other movie called Truth or Trust or something, and they just kind of lumped it all together.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about this one way or another until we know more about the character choice.
Of course. Really cool article. Let's see. What was this in? It actually gave us a nice little summary of everything we know about the Suicide Squad. It was, denofgeek.com, which we love going to.
Oh, so great.
So let's just review everything we know about Suicide Squad.
I love this because I need to be refreshed all the time. There's so many freaking movies and my head is going to explode sometimes.
So let's do this.
Give it to me.
Join in, everybody. It's slated to be released August 5th, 2016.
Woo, 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 woo.
Will it change? I don't know, but it's about a year and a half.
They're going strong.
Yeah.
They're pretty much going
If
strong.
it were to change, do you guys think it would be pushed back or pushed?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always pushed back.
No, they've been talking about spoilers of all these movies getting pushed forward because we're not getting anything in 2015.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice. That would definitely would be. So David Ayer says what he would like Suicide Squad to be is a, quote, dirty dozen with supervillains, which is pretty cool.
That's what it is.
And Warner Brothers is trying to sell Suicide Squad as more of like an Ocean's 11 kind of vibe to it. Ocean's 11 didn't have a ton of violence. I don't see how you can have a Suicide Squad feature and not have a boatload of violence. I'm not talking Kingsman level violence, which was amazing. But I think you got to have a lot of violence in Suicide Squad, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, all the pictures he's tweeting are different weapons. They had a blowtorch he was testing the other day out on set. So, yeah, we're going to see tons of violence.
Absolutely violence, but I think it would be cool to see them use their brains and outsmart people and be tricky and sneaky and not have the entire thing
That's
be
why
like...
they're all different.
Yeah, absolutely. But,
the one character that's I'm unfamiliar with in this group, is it the Enchantress?
Yeah.
Or her character...
Cara Delevingne.
Yes. That's a character that is newer to the squad. Like, I'm used to, like, Vixen or Nightshade as the female characters in there. So this one, I'm kind of like, that brings the magical element to it. So this is a whole nother... She's not going to get her hands dirty, per se, in the violence. Some
right.
of the sneaking stuff we're talking
Which
about,
I think
that
is cool.
It's
not that I'm not a fan of violence. Well, it's not that I am a fan of violence.
You're from Boston. You love violence. Don't even
I feel like
start.
I've dug myself a grave here. No, I'm into action movies. I like watching my fair share of fights, but I think that it gets repetitive at some point. So I do like to see them use different tactics.
Mix it up.
No, I would love a psychological aspect to it, but I think there's... it's Suicide Squad. They're sent on suicide missions. They're not supposed to come back. And as far as I'm concerned, if it's rated R, party on.
What are the chances that any of them do try to run and blow up or explode and they're gone from the entire franchise? 0%?
Depends. I mean, if they do that one expendable guy like they did in the animated movies, the KG Beast is just, out of nowhere. Right. So if they throw someone in there, maybe that's Jay Hernandez.
KG Beast was gone in the first 2.5 minutes of that movie.
You gotta prove it.
It was so quick. I'm like, oh, there you go.
You just blew up Jay Hernandez. He just got cast and you just blew him up.
His chances of 6 movies gone.
Look what you did.
So let's run down everything we know so far. We got Jared Leto as Joker. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Will Smith as Deadshot. Jai Courtney, however you want to pronounce it, as Captain Boomerang. Cara Delevingne as Enchantress. Looks like Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. Looks like Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. And they're even saying that Jesse Eisenberg may show up as Lex Luthor. Okay. That is a lot. That tells me like we're staring at a 2-hour movie with all these.
Oh, the Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor isn't fact. It looks like.
This one said is a possibility. I don't know what this is what this article said.
Yeah.
It's nothing's. They have not guaranteed Eisenberg, I don't think, yet.
Interesting. So. Yeah. No, I think that this all sounds great. There's nothing that's really making me nervous. Other than we've been hearing these Amanda Waller rumors for a really long time now. What's going on that they can't? What aren't they agreeing about? I mean, we talked about Viola Davis. Yeah, we thought she was locked in too. What did it come from? Latino Review at one point when we, I think, reported that maybe a month and a half ago. And a lot of you guys at home said that's still rumor.
This is from Den and Geek as well. Everything we know about Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I'm saying that originally said that Viola Davis had booked the role. I think that came from Latino Review. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just curious. Why are we still speculating on this? Why hasn't she signed it? I'm still a big Oprah fan, so it's giving me some hope. Not that I'm not a Viola Davis fan. She's fantastic.
Is it one of those ones where it's just like with Jason Momoa with Aquaman? Like, he came out, pretty much said it, but then he's like, no, I didn't say anything. And they dragged it on for like months.
Well, she didn't say anything.
Right,
so...
but then she was just talking that she's doing gun training.
Right, so I really don't know.
It might be a contractual thing where they're
like a money thing?
Yeah, or we can't say it till it's all dry.
I think they're working out numbers.
Don't want to say it.
You think so?
And plus, it all could depend on what project she's working on right now, that kind of thing.
Maybe she's waiting to see who's cast as Rick Flag.
That's what it is.
It must be.
Biracial
Coming
now.
down to the wire.
Hey, Viola.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, girl? All right, moving on. Some Green Lantern rumors now. Here we go. The EP of Arrow, Mark Guggenheim, says he spoke to Jeff Johns last week and says that John Diggle is John Diggle. We are not trying to be coy. DC has other plans for the character. So we talked last week about, is John Diggle John Stewart? Well, he's shooting this down. So, but at the same time, it makes us believe that John Stewart will be in the Justice League. After we talk about this, I have a follow-up story to make us think the opposite. So go ahead on what that was all about right there.
I think it's all a part of what era you grew up with DC, and I grew up Hal Jordan. Not even so much that I read in the Silver Age with that, like Alex Ross is a big Silver Age guy. That's his era he grew up in. I was the 80s with Super Friends, and that's what I grew up in. Hal Jordan, as a kid with brown hair, I just related to him. And then as I got older, I liked Guy Gardner, which a lot of people didn't like, but I thought he was a great choice just because he was just such a jerk character, always threatening authority. John Stewart was the one that was just always kind of there. It never resonated with me.
Okay.
Now, if I was a younger, African-American
but you got to have respect for
up,
Stewart with his military background, all that stuff.
And but again, that all came later. It was interesting. So his stuff when he first was around was kind of just. You didn't know. I was like, why are there 4 lanterns? It was supposed to be one per sector, and you're just kind of like, what's going on? And
I think it's the classic.
Was a good character, but
I think it's the classic story is that you always love the original of anything. You're always very nostalgic for that.
I guess that's true, but I think it's really cool because of his background and what we know about him as a kid, and that he kind of has the success story because he came from such a tough neighborhood. And I think that's awesome that we could really get invested in an origin story for him. And
I mean, I get that. They're talking, because the failure of the movie that it was, they don't want people to associate with that, with this new thing they're doing. But, I think it was during Justice League when they were bringing that out, and Bruce Timm came out, and he said it flat out. He's like, yeah, we put John Stewart in there because if we didn't, it's a bunch of white guys and a white woman standing up there. And he was very honest.
You want to have diversity. I mean, you need it.
And it created a great character to add it to the mythos of the character of John Stewart, where when I watch Justice League now, I don't picture Hal Jordan. I don't want to see Hal Jordan. I love the John Stewart they created in that, with him with the Hawk Girl thing.
Right.
Well, it is funny that you mentioned that, because now, let's see, where did we get this from? iDigital Time. I'm sorry, from GameandGuide.com. There's a possibility. It's a possibility that Man of Steel had a little bit of a Green Lantern clue. Now, granted, Green Lantern comes out June 19th, 2020, and who knows if that's really going to happen. But there's a character, and you'll love this, Mike, and Roxy. There's a character called Carrie Ferris in Man of Steel. In the comic books, there was a character called Carol Ferris, who was Hal Jordan's girlfriend. She became possessed by Star Sapphire, then became a villain, eventually turned over a new leaf, used her force for good. But could this be a wink, like a really tiny wink to the DC universe? Like, why would you name a character almost identical who played Hal Jordan's girlfriend if you didn't plan on her becoming something down the road? Is this really people looking too deeply into it? Because look, subtle clues are what these universes are all about in their films.
Right.
I think that's fascinating stuff, man.
I don't know. It's either one or two things. Yes, it was a brilliant, way out of left field Easter egg that they're like, only 10 people are going to pick this up. Or the writers it was like they heard the word Ferris was always in their head somewhere.
The writers had to know.
But it's just like they never called her that. Yeah. You see it on the military badge, and even then, you got to freeze frame it to see it. And it's Carrie Ferris. Carol Ferris never had sisters.
But that's super subtle, dude. It doesn't mean they're sisters.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I saw it. I mean,
what's wrong with it just being an Easter egg? What's wrong with it being what it was? Do we have to make it into something more? Right. I mean, we can if we want.
And could Carrie be a nickname for Carol? Do Carols have nicknames?
I don't think they do. I don't think they name people Carol anymore anyway.
Well,
that's true.
No offense to anyone named Carol out there.
That
was my grandmother's name.
I don't know. Some people could just call her Care, and then it goes to Carrie endearingly.
Yeah.
Talk about a subtle clue. I think that would be but that makes you think, okay, now it could be Hal Jordan. Like, what the hell?
An Easter egg is the Wayne Enterprises satellite. That's an Easter egg in the movie, which you saw and I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Referencing,
Yes, but this Carrie Ferris, I'm just kind of like.
Now, a lot of people in chat will think that's looking way too into it, but it's still fun to talk about because it distinctly could be something.
Here it is 2 years later, we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So I got it out there.
Absolutely. And just going back, because I wanted to mention that in the chat, they are talking about the fact that Viola Davis was confirmed and that she spoke about it. I'm still looking to see what she said. They said that she spoke saying she was interested in the role.
Yeah.
I'm not finding an exact quote, but I'll make sure I come back next week with an absolute confirmation for you guys.
Here's the thing, too, with what we got. Ezra Miller, I believe his name is.
Yeah,
The Flash. Okay. Seeing him being cast, his age, the type he plays so far, we don't know anything what his Flash is going to be like. To put Hal Jordan in there, you wouldn't get the classic Hal Barry dynamic that I would love to see. Of the slow scientist and the cocky pilot. Mm-hmm. That, to me, still hasn't been done.
Well,
so
you're calling him Barry, but he has not been called Barry yet.
I know.
So,
and he doesn't really look Barry to me.
Yeah,
the TV show looked Barry to me.
You think he's more Wally?
He could be, yeah.
So I don't know if you're going to get it regardless.
Right, I know. And so
regardless of what the other casting looks like.
Absolutely, I know.
I feel like I just crushed your dreams a little bit.
All right. Thank you.
I didn't mean to. I really didn't.
I'm not coming back.
Before we move on to the next story,
Don't say
this past episode of Gotham, while we're on, obviously we're here, might as well talk about
Let's do it.
Had a lot of hype. I've noticed a lot of negative feedback about it.
I read something, I think it was badassdigest.com. They wrote this great article on it. And
we like to call it Badass.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like the show jumped the shark this week.
That's kind of the feeling a lot of people got, man.
You know me, we talked about it. In the comments, I apologize again, I'm a Batman guy, but this show, I'm in its corner. I'm fighting for it. I want to love it.
I'm fighting so hard.
Come on.
To be the shepherd. Oh, wait, God.
Oh, no. It's just, I'm having a really hard time because I have invested myself in this show.
And the Graysons and they had a fight
the Family
for
Feud.
generations. And
about the horse or something. It's just...
And the showrunner is so good. He's such a good showrunner.
They're under a lot of pressure and they're trying to please a lot of people. Yeah. And I think that it's getting to them. Because they are introducing so many different stories and so many different characters. And no, this is not me saying I'm giving up on the show. By any means.
It's
and I still have faith in the show, and I do think that they can come back from this. But I think they're confused in the direction they want to go, so they're planting out feelers like, we could go here, we could go here, we could go here.
Right.
I just need them to make a decision and go for it. And if it's a strong decision, then let's all follow. And if it's not, then let's kind of...
And don't get me wrong, I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I get confused while watching it. It's really a lot. I love the one scene where Joker and Penguin had that little standoff. I'm not Joker, I'm sorry. Riddler and Penguin had that little standoff. That was kind of cool.
But Jim gets the riddle. Okay? Why didn't he go to the one guy that's purpose is on the show to solve the riddles? And
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was always kind of shoehorned in there, and he's like, he would pop up in those first couple episodes. He's like, riddle me this. Is like, okay, all right, let's go, Ed. Just tell us. What do we need to know? So here's a plot where he could go, and it just was like,
and to me, the guy they introduced as Joker, there's. Right. I don't see how that can't be the Joker. So what his story is, he killed his mom at the circus. Like that's.
So just so you guys know, if you are, we should have said this before, if you are overseas or haven't seen these episodes yet, we just gave out a bunch of spoilers.
Not too bad.
We didn't give out that much.
Here's my other problem right now. Right, CW shows are going on hiatus, so I'm not going to have my Flash and Arrow for the next month, which means that I've just got Gotham and Constantine, but I kind of am on Constantine these days. So now I'm like... Gotham focused, and I need them to step it up.
But it's like with Arrow, they got great with, I think it was Odyssey was the name of the episode. It was like their 18th, and the first it was struggling. Season 1, yes. And with this, it is struggling. But thank you, Fox, for giving it's second season already. So I think there's a chance if to kind of hone where they're going with it. Maybe regroup after this season. And come back strong. But Fox, a show that is known for dropping the ball and letting go of great shows early.
Well, no one does that more than NBC. they're the worst. But yeah, go ahead.
But they're sticking with it, and the showrunner has got, I believe he's from Rome, Bruno Heller. I could be wrong on that, but Bruno Heller is the showrunner, and he is a great showrunner for his show. So and like you said, he's trying to, there's so many entities I'm sure they've got to try and please. Yeah. And also navigate, like, they probably come with a list like, don't touch this, don't touch this, you can touch this, you cannot touch this.
Right.
So, you know, but it's entertaining, and
and we're not being negative at all. I mean, like I said, I'm still going to watch, but it's like I said, we like to give a voice for not just us, but for the universe. And just by going what people are saying online, people are saying in chat roll, a lot of people are just like, what the hell's going on? So we just have to, we want to report it just to give a view of everyone, because we know we're going to enjoy it. Yep. It's just not everyone necessarily is going to.
So, and everything's not always great, and there are problems. And me as I see it and I'm like, I want it to be so good, and being Batman, I want to support it, but there are, you're just like, okay, that wasn't a very good one.
And I'm a patient guy. I always like things, and maybe because I come in the world of pro wrestling where fans go ape shit and lose their mind immediately and get mad, I always give them time to tie it back in and make things, put a nice little bow on it. So I think that's what we need to do with Gotham. We'll see what happens. I
ate my words with S.H.I.E.L.D., so I probably will do it again with this. I admitted I was wrong with S.H.I.E.L.D., and it came back full circle, and that show is
good. I hope you eat your words.
Eat your world. Eat your world, Mike.
The whole world gets
the whole
eaten.
world. I'm going to eat it all.
All right, here's some fun news. Fox, talk about TV. Fox has given a green light to order a pilot for Lucifer. The old Lord of Hell from the Sandman series. Major names attached. Right, Jerry Bruckheimer attached as executive producer. You name it, he's done it. Every CSI known to man. Len Wiseman set to direct it. He was the producer and writer for Sleepy Hollow. He was the EP of the newer version of Total Recall. And, this character, I think it's going to be really cool. The question is which way they're going to go with it, because Lucifer was the Lord of Hell for 10 billion years, became bored with its existence, and handed over the lordship to two angels, and then went to Earth to retire. So I don't know. Is that going to be intense or like a comedy? I have no idea.
It sounds like Dogma to me.
Yeah. I love that movie though. And also, I don't think you mentioned that Tom Capano's attached to it, who obviously comes over from Californication, which I love that show more than anything. So I feel like we are in trustworthy hands. We don't know much more about it yet.
I'm very curious to see how they pick this.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was an article they were talking about back when they did Human Target several years ago, which I love that show. Such a good show. Fox didn't give it a good fair share, but they go into the DC archives and they say, okay, what characters do we have? And they're kind of just pulling through the old, the old who's who and whatnot, looking of, yes, you can have him, yes, no, you can't have him. So it's interesting to see there are so many more characters that I don't think will be involved in the DC cinematic universe that would fit TV, and seeing that Constantine is struggling so much. Mm-hmm. To go this same almost magical route again, it's interesting. Like, what is their thinking with that?
It's just a pilot order. I mean, even though you think Bruckheimer attached to anything, the show is going to get picked up.
Yeah,
but
He's got that clout.
It is still just a pilot, and every single network picks up a boatload of pilots. Sure. Like I have a buddy who's in an NBC pilot comedy, and there's 20 other NBC comedies that are going to pilot, meaning like 2.
Yeah, of course.
As
50 shoot, and then they choose 2 for the network. So.
Now, Fox doesn't worry about pilot season anymore. They just do their own thing.
What they say, but,
Let me ask you guys a question from the chat. So Andrew Colmer wants to know, again, it's going to be a normal crime drama with Lucifer helping out LAPD. Do you guys think that's true?
They're probably doing
That's odd.
You also got to think, too, budget-wise.
Yeah.
This has got to be on every single week. They've got to have a standard location. They can't go globe-trotting all over the world. So they've got to be what they've got. So that makes sense. They kind of, scale down the budget. The
question is, if you're going to make a TV show out of it, Lucifer has to be some kind of anti-hero. Otherwise, if he's the main character, we have to get invested.
Right.
So
right.
It's a slippery slope.
It's very interesting. I love the change, being in the entertainment industry, to see what changes are made for TV. Like a great example, I just talked about Human Target. That's a show where Christopher Chance would impersonate people by putting, makeup or masks on. Well, for a show, you can't have your lead actor with a mask on in the entire show.
Yeah.
So they changed the dynamic of what the show was. He became kind of more of a bodyguard, where he was always with the person that he was protecting. So a show like this, they have to see what changed. And I think that's what's interesting for me as a fan, to watch these and go, okay, let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also interesting to me that I hadn't heard much rumblings about this show before they announced the pilot. And I feel like we keep talking about so many spin-offs and so many other DC characters. And like you were talking about before, Mike, I just don't know how they picked this.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Especially I would love to be in that room.
With the Constantine kind of going.
Right.
But it's Jerry Bruckheimer. He probably could have walked in there and gone, I like this one, we're doing this one. And they're like, oh,
I'm going to write a show about the pee that comes out of me. And people would have said, yeah, okay. I'm going to produce that. Okay.
Is that a half hour or hour show?
I feel like it's 22 minutes. Yeah, definitely.
A multicam sitcom.
Absolutely.
I just have to say, though, I mean, we get shows like Lucifer, and now we got Supergirl going.
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal. We're finally in an area. It's almost like back like the 80s, not for superheroes, but for just in the 80s. There's always those great action TV shows. Now we're superhero films that are TV shows that every network wants one, and I love it.
I definitely agree with that, and I have heard a lot of people say that there's too many shows, but I love this comment from the chat from Cyborg Unicorn, who says, not an overkill of DC shows. How many reality shows are there out there in the world? Which is so true. This is just a genre of shows.
Except reality shows.
It's not like the same character over and over.
Reality shows are way cheaper. That's why there's so many out there. They're super cheap, and you can get morons to do them. Yeah. That's why there's so many reality shows, and people watch them.
It's a gross generalization, but yes.
They do watch them.
It is. Yeah. There's a lot of reality shows that have...
A lot of it's valid.
No, there's some great reality television, but there's also the trash that doesn't help anyone in society that we still watch.
Of course. Of course.
Should we get to the questions for the week?
Please do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, because that's pretty much all the news we have for the week. So let's get some questions, and then we'll close out strong.
So here's what I want to say about the questions. If you guys are wondering, how do you get your question asked? You guys can join us here live on Thursdays at 2:45 Pacific time. And you can join us in the chat on our YouTube page for Popcorn Talk. So we have a live event. If you're watching this later, you can reach us there live on Thursday. And the other way you can reach us is on Twitter. So you can find us at DC Movies SK, hashtag DC Movies News,
and
DC
Facebook.
Movie News, and on Facebook and on iTunes and on SoundCloud and everywhere that you think you can find us, you can. Sure. If you want to get to us, that's where we are. And make sure you're writing us questions, because we answer them every week, and we love hearing what you guys have to ask.
I will say this. Try to ask your questions on either YouTube or Twitter. Facebook is very odd. It doesn't always give you a heads up when messages come in, and so it's easy to miss messages.
That's true, but that should not deter you from going to our Facebook page.
No, like it and enjoy our posts. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start with this one from @Joseph J. Alberto. And sorry in advance if I butcher any of your names. I do not mean to. He wants to know, how dark should animated DC movies be? Which is a very good question. And I think that we'll get some mixed answers across the board.
Well, I have Adam Gertler's response, but go ahead, Mike. Go right ahead, my friend.
I would love to see them push the envelope, but you have to understand, and in fans, it's animated, so that they gear those towards children. Yes, we watch them as adults and we love them, but that is why you get a Batman Assault on Arkham and not Suicide Squad Assault on Arkham. They would never put the PR people, Suicide Squad, Assault on Arkham, on the kids section, which when those animated movies come out, they're in the kids section.
Well, completely.
You just wouldn't.
Completely, and I would agree with that. But if I open up this to animated DC TV shows, I think that we could get something that was a little raunchier, and put it on an Adult Swim or whatever network we end up putting a weird animated.
Absolutely, they've got a whole dark area, and I hate to talk about it again, but I'd love to see an R-rated Batman. He's out there.
Hell yeah.
He's out there. I mean, he's
an R-rated animated Batman.
Sure, or he's a terrorist.
You're out fighting crime. You're not going to drop an F-bomb or two? Come on, let's be realistic.
Like Frank Miller said, he's a terrorist that fights the right bad guy.
Right. Totally.
And to see an R-rated out there, what he's going through every night, oh my! Whether it's animated or live action, I would love to see it. Mm-hmm. But will it happen? Probably not.
The answer is should. Do you think it should?
Absolutely.
Along those lines, here's Adam Gertler's response. How dark should the animated movies be? He says dark. Very dark. Darker than Hartwell Heisenberg's Dark Knight Rises Fight Club fantasies. I honestly like the overall tone of those films, and they always do things more for the kids, like Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans! He wants me to say the Teen Titans voice. Brave and the Bold, and the upcoming film Batman Unlimited, which is going to be for like 6-year-olds. Clearly, they're fighting in a zoo. Oh. So
okay, first of all, your Teen Titans was very good. Your Adam voice, pretty decent. Shout out to Heisenberg.
I wasn't trying to be. I'll do a Gertler impression. Now, that wasn't my Gertler impression.
Oh, let's hear your Gertler impression.
I'll wait for the next question. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're moving on to Brian Hurst, who says, I don't watch the show, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but it seems like Gotham is rushing out a lot of big names from Rogue Gallery in the first season. And what about the age discrepancies? Are most of Batman's adversaries going to be 10 to 15 years older than him?
That's a fantastic...
Brian, what's his name?
Observation or question.
Hurst,
phenomenal.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to give us Adam's answer to start, and then we can discuss what we think?
Sure.
I rushed to that because I just knew you were going to do the voice, and I can't think about anything else until I hear Johnny's Adam.
In my best Gertler impression. They are rushing. And I think the producers, they're trying to ensure that they don't lose their audience by trotting out the big guns early. I wish they'd focus more on the Gordon Bullock stories and their own characters, as long as the names aren't Fish Mooney. Sausage. Go ahead.
That was pretty good. We should have saved our slow clap for that moment.
That was a good one.
Love you, Gertler.
Good. I don't know if Gertler would have appreciated it.
No, he would have loved it. He's energetic. I love it.
That's true. I don't know. I think that we just talked a little bit about this. Yeah, I don't know if rushing's the word or more just kind of like panicked and confused. It's not. It's not because I think if they were doing it well, then it wouldn't be too quickly. It's not the speed that I have a problem with. It's the way that they're going about it at some point.
I think not a problem I have with it. I don't have a problem with the show in that sense. It's just the fact that I was always kind of brought up into the world that the villains came over as a result of Batman, of the escalation, where it was always the mob. So to see all these characters with being, whether it's their father or what, to see where they come from, it's an interesting take, and it's just adding to the enjoyment of just the overall universe. Again, it's just another take on it. So,
what do you guys think about the 10 to 15 years older than him, though, and what kind of problems that could bring to the show?
Well, that's the way it appears, because right now Bruce is what, 12, could we say? 11, 12?
12, yeah.
And, I mean, look at, the Penguin. He's
right.
Well, we've got
25.
We've got a young Catwoman.
So she'll be his age.
That's a good point. They are about the same age.
Ivy's his age.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they are doing the father versions of some of the characters that they would grow into. Like,
okay.
But the Dent one is weird.
Yeah, that one's weird.
I always pictured Bruce Wayne and Dent to be the same exact age, and almost each other. They just had different paths in life.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So
one's a terrorist and one is not.
Right. You need them, but you need like you said, that they need the villains to keep the general audiences. We're fans of the show, or we're fans of comic books, so we know these characters, but the people watching in Kansas that just know Batman in general terms, they need those big names to like, oh, I'll tune in because so-and-so is going to be on this week. And then they watch it, and it's like, okay, it wasn't what I thought, but... So from the entertainment standpoint, they've got to get those names in there.
Gregory Castillo says Joker is like 16, 17, and Bruce is like 12 or 14. So I guess if you take the higher number and say 14 to 16, that 2-year jump isn't that much.
No, it's not too bad. And actually, that's a great point. Reeker of Havoc and Trower says Penguin has been older before, which is very true. I mean, remember DeVito's Penguin?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right.
Really, good Lord knows how old he was.
And he's never been a physical threat to Batman anyway, so he's, give him time to kind of build up his empire and whatnot as he gets older.
I'm just picturing them all being the same age, like all the mothers around the world that year had some weird kids.
There was years ago, someone, I don't even know if it was a pitch or whatever, but they pitched a show called Gotham High. It was an animated show. And it was all of them in high school.
God, no.
And I don't remember if it was just a fan.
What happened to that?
Art
oh, that's amazing.
That did
was Mr. Belding the principal?
But it was like,
pretty awesome.
On the one hand, it was just kind of like, what the? But the other hand, it's like, that is brilliant.
Do you know how many fans would be livid about that, though? Like, if they couldn't get over the fact that it was...
But I think it was like a Teen Titans version of, like, it's called Gotham High.
I love it.
I remember the picture of it. I'll try and find it and put it up there on the comments.
I wish I went.
Awesome.
I wanted to go to Gotham
But I don't know
High.
if that was a fan thing or if it was trying to get some traction as a series.
Right. Got it. Okay, moving on to Taylor Burns, who says, and the reason I'm asking this question is because there was multiple people in the YouTube link that said this. Multiple people. So Taylor Burns says, sounds bad, but Mark Wahlberg as Shazam, similar age to The Rock, and is huge and funny, charismatic.
He's
Opinions?
He's not a big man.
Hey, did you see me talk to Optimus Prime? Yeah, I could play a superhero.
Oh, man. Hey,
all right.
Hey, say any mother for me.
Hey, it's Transformer.
It's a Transformer.
All right.
I'm just trying to talk to you, Optimus. I'm an inventor. My daughter here is dating a 16-year-old.
Here's my problem.
Hey, you want to see my talking teddy bear?
Okay. All right. You guys are mean.
No, we're not mean.
No, we're not mean.
Wahlberg can
You're
deal with a
people.
little bit of poking. I mean, he's
I don't know. When they made fun of him on Saturday Night Live, he got really upset about that.
He's a huge star. Well, then buckle up.
Here's my thing. I am such a fan that I have a very hard time thinking he would do a bad job in anything. I just am. I think he's awesome.
No.
That
They're going for him, $6 million man, Steve Austin. Absolutely not.
okay.
No, that's my childhood hero there. No,
I
$6 million
think,
man.
Get stone cold.
I think he can do whatever he wants to. He can do whatever he dreams of. I don't know if he would take the role, but I do think, like they said, opposite The Rock, similar ages.
But he does have that childlike quality.
But then,
does.
what was that movie?
The size of it.
They did a movie together already. Was it The Rock and Wahlberg? It was
the cop movie with Will Ferrell.
the two guns? No, that was a different one.
One gun?
It was Hard Pain and Gain. That's what it was.
Oh,
Pain.
That was another one. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, here is the Gertler response. Too old, I think, and too short. That's what I said.
All right. What
Just
is
calm
too
down.
short?
Let Gertler speak.
Have you heard of an apple box? Because Tom Cruise has.
Clearly. Maybe Daniel Cudmore, Colossus from the X-Men movies, as some people have suggested, but honestly, I think it's got to be Army the Hammer. He looks like a drawing, and he's been tied to Justice League since the George Miller concept. Yeah, Army Hammer, he's a big
Yet
dude.
another one of those guys that Hollywood tried to pull into the leading man thing.
I have to tell you guys that when Gertler sent these to me, I was reading this, and when he said Army, I read it really quick, and I read it as Annie, and I was thinking he was trying to make some sort of statement here. Putting Annie up again.
Oh, you're saying have a female version of Shazam?
I'm thinking like the little redhead
singer?
Annie.
It's a hard knock life, y'all.
It is.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, Adam, what are you doing to me? What are you doing?
So it looks like we have one, maybe two more questions. We'll be out of here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Moving on. This is from... Oh, no. I can't see who this is from.
Oh, actually, yeah, I don't think we said. Sorry, but someone asked.
So you guys let me know who wrote this, and I will definitely give you guys a shout out on the show next week. It says, have you guys considered that hashtag Joker and hashtag Suicide Squad is actually the main villain?
Well,
so
here's a Gertler's response.
In the voice.
No, I don't have the energy.
You got to.
I am not.
You can do it.
Fine.
Here we go, baby.
I have not considered that as a possibility, as I've been intoxicated by the prevailing notion that we'll see Hannibal Joker, but I have no idea, capital N-O. Do you, I think, okay, he's misspelling things. Do I think the Joker would be a good villain for a Suicide Squad movie? Hell no, but I haven't read the script, so what do I know? It could be The Godfather or comic book movies, and I will graciously lap it up. Sausage.
All right. Sure. No, that was good. You really pulled out the energy there.
The spelling was a little off, so I got thrown off.
No, I get it. I was agreeing that I thought we discussed what kind of Joker we wanted to see. We had talked about this Hannibal Joker, but I hadn't considered it because I think that I don't want it to happen. So I didn't think about it. I think it would be a mistake, a big mistake.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Especially introducing him in a movie where it's not a Batman movie, and I just think it's a big mistake.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think he's the wild card. He's the, either the Hannibal version of it, or he's the wild card that they, he's got to be there for some reason in that group. Is he there? Is Harley Quinn brought in to kind of keep him on a leash? Why is he in there, though? So it's just kind of like, that is such a... You got to think of looking from a military standpoint of why Waller's doing this for what they're doing. Why would they bring this wild card that you can never trust? You have no idea what's going on. Why is he involved in that? So is he involved in that?
Well,
maybe
are they going to stop him?
Maybe it'll be something to the extent of where by the end of the movie we realize that even though we think the mystery is solved or the story is solved, if you will,
right.
At the very end we find out that he was actually behind everything. So even though you think the day is saved, oh no. The story continues.
He was playing 5 steps ahead.
Exactly, which he tends to do.
I think when they're saying the main villain, they're talking about who Suicide Squad is trying to take out, not who's the main person working in Suicide Squad. Would that be incorrect?
I don't think it's going to be a very big name that they're going after. Like, I don't think it's going to be a DC.
Like, this isn't a Justice League version of
No,
the name,
they're not, I'm trying to think of who they would try to be going after to stop. I think there may be some kind of takedown of dictatorship or something like that, in a sense, where it's more about them, not them competing against a big name actor in a big name villain role.
Got it.
Yeah. Either way, man, I'm stoked. Can't wait. Any more questions, or are we good to go?
I think we're good.
I think that's it for the way. Actually, yeah, we got to wrap up anyway, so we're about that time.
All right.
Well, let's all put ourselves over. Mike, go right ahead.
What's put yourself over mean?
Yeah,
put yourself over means promote yourself.
Oh, promote myself. Oh. Well, I just want to say thank you for the fans. You guys were fantastic. There were so many cool comments out there.
Yeah, they loved you. I don't know why.
Compared to young Nathan Fillion, which I love.
We'll
so
take
thank
it.
you for that. I'll take
take
it.
I think it got like 12 likes on that,
Absolutely.
too.
And they're pushing the question thing.
Yeah.
So that got out there. So, guys, thank you for that. Again, at Mike Kalinwoski at Twitter.com. I'm on Facebook. I love connecting with people on I tried to comment to everyone that kind of commented to me. So thank you for that, guys. I appreciate it.
Party on, Roxy Striar.
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar, and you can find us here at Popcorn Talk, on Twitter at DC Movies SK, hashtag DC Movie News, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Facebook, and everywhere else in the world.
Believe that. At Jay Quasto. Next week, do you live in Las Vegas? I'm going to be at the Brad Garrett Comedy Club all week at the MGM. So if you're in Vegas, hit me up.
Wow.
And Brea Improv, March 18th, Wednesday night in Brea, California. I'll hook you up with free tickets. Hit me up on social media. I'd love to see you. Other than that, like you said, DC Movies SK. Bane Cat, go ahead.
Bane Cat says bye to everyone. I'll pee in your litter box.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
In the litter box.
Bye, everybody.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.